Welcome to Defeat Your Cravings, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston, PhD. Glenn has held his doctorate in psychology for more than 30 years and is also a former multi-million-dollar consultant to the big food industry and uses his experience to help you defeat your cravings. This show will help you to focus on dramatically reducing cravings and leave the diet mentality behind, so you can more easily and effortlessly achieve your health, fitness, and body composition goals. Please remember, no doctor-patient relationship is created via this show, and you are responsible for confirming any changes to your diet, health, or psychological routines with an appropriately licensed professional before implementing them. Now, before we get started, if you haven't yet downloaded the free smartphone app to access dozens of these recordings all in one place, as well as to avail yourself of a confidential community for support, motivation, and assistance, please visit the podcast link on defeatyourcravings.com as soon as possible. And now, here's your host, Dr. Glenn Livingston.
Hey, it's the very good Dr. Glenn Livingston, and I am here with a woman you've heard from before, Sherry. Sherry, how do you pronounce your last name? I always forget.
Doogie.
Sherry Doogie. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. And Sherry and I wanted to follow up a little bit about her last podcast interview. And then she had some other thoughts that she wanted to share with us that have been helpful. Sherry, why don't I let you take the lead here? What's on your mind about the last time? What happened after we spoke last time? You go.
Tag, I'm it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So my last interview, we focused basically on the fact that I tend to be very rebellious about a lot of things and really struggled all my life rebelling against what I wanted to do with food and health. That's been very helpful to me, but it's taken some time to settle and to really affect overall new habits and patterns and thinking and a restructuring basically around food. And I mean, I'm into it now 9 months at least or so. And in the last, I would say 6 weeks, some really great things have come through in my process. And I'm excited to share them because they're simple and it's stuff that you've covered and everyone's covered, but it just doesn't sink in until it sinks in, right?
Well, and it's really good to hear how each individual person integrates it and really lets it sink in and make a difference, because you never know who some audience member is going to identify with. Sometimes people could be listening, they kind of sort of get at what we're saying, but they don't quite identify with me. And then one of my podcast guests, they say it in that way where the light bulb really goes on. So I am totally in favor of that. Are these things that helped you to stop rebelling against your own best thinking, or tell me a little more?
Yes. I mean, I even have notes because I don't know. I just think this stuff is so interesting and important. So I would say the first one is the piece about fall down 7 and get up 8. I mean, you say that and we hear that and we go over that and you know it in your head. You're like, yeah, I get back up. I'm training myself to recover quickly if I binge and all of these things. And intellectually, you get it. But at least for me, it's taken some time for that to really become what I would say, like you said, integrated. Like it is who I am now. I do this as habit almost. And I don't have accidental binges or intentional binges or anything very often, but I still do make some mistakes. COVID hasn't helped with all of that, et cetera. But the difference is that I all of a sudden realized that, okay, yes, sometimes if I have a mistake, it's not 10 months before I recover. It's now a matter of hours, like even within the same day, maybe tomorrow. Like if I binge today, tomorrow I won't. I call it the big bounce back. I bounce back really fast.
Kind of depends upon what your rules are. Some people find there are rules they can set and they just stick, and that's forever. Most people fall down and have to teach themselves to get up, analyze what went wrong, and forgive themselves with dignity.
Yes.
And most people find the experience to be something like you're describing. They don't immediately just stop binging, but they start to recover their sense of power and resilience after they've made a mistake, right?
Yes. And you're right. Some of my rules, absolutely no problem. Like they stuck instantly. And a couple of the others, yes, I do need to bounce back a little bit here and there, but it's so rare, so less severe. And like I said, it's like practically immediate. It's not like weeks and weeks go by where I just keep eating like a monster.
You become a resilient person with food.
Yes.
You've discovered that the name of the game is staying in the game until you win the game.
That's the other piece of it. Exactly. And I say that to myself sometimes. And I actually mean it now. Like it's who I am now. It's not like just lip service. Like it really is how I am behaving.
Because in the beginning, the voice of the pig was really loud going, yeah, right. Yeah, stay in the game till you win the game. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yippee, let's fall down a million more times. Yippee, right?
Right, exactly. Let me kick you a little harder.
But the truth is that if you keep getting up and aiming at the target, your aim gets better.
Well, and it used to be too that I would be so discouraged with any slip up that I couldn't even imagine bouncing back. What was the point, right? And now I don't even have any doubt. That's the other piece that's missing now is I know I will be okay. Like I know I can do it. I know I will bounce right back. And I didn't have that confidence and self-trust in it before. And so I do now. So I don't freak out. Like I don't go spiraling down the sewer of, oh, I'm such a loser. I can't do this anymore. That doesn't even occur anymore.
Does your pig ever try to use that as an excuse to binge? You're really good at getting me back in the cage now. You've got this big bounce back thing, so we might as well go to town.
Yes, and that has happened. And I was traveling for a week, and that happened repeatedly during my traveling. But as soon as I realized, oh, I'm going to be home in a couple of days, it shut right down. Like I realized, okay, this is squeal. This is ridiculous. You're taking advantage of my great new habits. So go away, pig. Done.
You always use the present moment to be healthy, no matter what, no matter what.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, there's a little struggle once in a while, but the fact that it just isn't a lengthy process, that alone is just enormous.
What do you mean?
Just that I know that it's not going to be 6 weeks before I recover. Like I'm not going to.
Oh, I see.
You see what I mean?
If you make a mistake, that doesn't mean that you've fallen into some netherworld, like Jack Shrimpy would say, where
exactly
there's some mysterious force in control of you and you are now compelled to eat 100,000 calories before you can get back on track.
Exactly. The hopelessness part of that is gone because I now have absolute confidence that even if today I struggle, tomorrow I will not.
I love it.
So that alone, that's worth gold to me. It's wonderful.
What else have you noticed?
Another part of that, I would say, is that building that recovery muscle, it's led me to what I would say as a self-discovery of my own value. I don't think in my 40 years of overeating that I ever really valued myself. What I mean by that is self-worth. Like, I think part of my rebellion issue was I didn't think I was important enough to myself to take care of myself. So why bother? If I'm not important to myself, then who cares what I eat? Who cares if I'm unhealthy, if I don't feel comfortable in my clothes? And that's despair right there. And that's throwing in the towel and just caving into all of this pig squeal in my head that I'm not a valuable person. There's no reason for me to put in effort, to pay attention to what I'm doing, to be conscious of my decisions, and to really take care of myself, do what I really think is best for me. So building that muscle of learning to stick to rules, it was almost like a light bulb one morning when I realized it. And then I've been able to use that realization as a really effective refutation that I can say now, if the pig is yelling about whatever I see in front of me somewhere, then I can say to myself, wait a minute, shut up, pig. I'm more valuable than that cupcake. I am worth more to myself than that cupcake.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sounds so simple and so obvious, but it really hit me like a light bulb, like, whoa, yes, this is about how important it is for me to take care of myself. And I gave lip service to that for years, but it really didn't mean anything.
Could I say something a little complicated about that? There's another nuance that most people don't recognize. Sherry, you're right. It's much easier to find the motivation to stick with your plan when you value yourself as a person. When you recognize that the pig has been devaluing you with slop and that it's actually taking away from your experience of life and your right to be present and loving and productive and energetic and free of digestive distress and all that. But the other piece is, sometimes it's necessary to tell the pig that it doesn't matter whether you're a valuable person or not. because you're a superior person. You're wired neurologically in such a way to be superior to the pig. It's entirely possible to have low self-esteem and eat well anyway.
Yeah.
I'm saying it because most people don't understand this, and most people will then spend a lifetime to improve their self-esteem so that someday they're going to feel good enough about themselves to take care of themselves. That's what I'm trying to intervene with. Then paradoxically, if you develop the ability to assert your superiority and tell your pig that you don't have pig slop, no matter how you're feeling about yourself, sooner or later you start to feel pretty good about yourself. Sooner or later you start to realize that you're a valuable person. And then there's a positive snowball that gives you the motivation. So I wanted to clarify that.
Exactly. And I don't know that I feel like I have more self-confidence. I don't even know if it's that. It's just somehow that word of saying I'm valuable to myself has taken reputations to a new level. It's putting me first, putting me as the superior, as you said, as, okay, I don't listen to farm animals,
I deserve to stay on my plan.
Yes.
It's a birthright. I'm a human being. I have the ability to stay on the plan. I really thought this through when I was of sound mind and body, and I'm motivated enough to do it, right?
Exactly. I mean, the silly part of that is one day the dog was running around and I'm like, I treat the dog better than myself.
How so?
Like, I make sure the dog has what it needs. I make sure he's nourished. He has amazing food. We take good care of him. And yet here I'm feeding myself slop, which I wouldn't feed the dog slop.
You'll poison yourself, but not the dog.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, what's your dog's name?
Chewie. Chewbacca.
Oh, no. Oh, like Star Wars. That's funny.
He's awesome. He's cute. So another part of that is I've found that I have a new kind of just a healthier, more positive relationship with my body as a result of being able to stick to rules and be a little bit more disciplined and know that I'm managing things the way I want to based on my big plans, what my goals are, my big motivation. I feel like I've learned to now treat myself as I would my best friend. And I said, like the dog, I want myself to be happy. I want myself to be fully nourished. I want to feel good about my fitness and what I'm eating, and that I'm taking care of myself like I would take care of someone else. And I've also learned, and this is just, I don't know, it's kind of funny, that my body wants to feel good. And I never identified that before.
What do you mean?
Like I didn't know what it felt like to feel good, basically. I didn't know what it felt like to feel really healthy, to feel food is empowering to me and nourishing to me, and that I am in control of it and I'm not being kicked around by the pig.
Oh, it's like the allegory of the cave, right? Like, I think it was Plato. He said, if people were chained to the wall inside of a cave, I'm probably bastardizing this, but if they were chained to a wall inside of a cave and there really wasn't any light and all they could see was the shadows of life outside the cave.
Oh, yes.
Then they would think that that's what life really was. You stepped out of the cave and you said, wow, I'm capable of feeling a whole different way.
There's sunlight and there's breeze and I can smell flowers. Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
And what impact has that had on you?
It's fantastic. I feel comfortable. I have good fitness regimen now. I feel stronger. I feel more comfortable, more at ease. And this is the big one. I don't feel like I'm at war with myself anymore. It just takes so much stress off your plate.
So a lot of people criticize saying you're going to war with yourself, you're separating yourself into two parts, and really you're not two parts. You have to accept every part of yourself. People are concerned that this is a methodology which would make you more at war with yourself.
Got it.
How did it work out that you're not at war with yourself, you're more at peace with yourself from having done this?
Well, you're right. Initially, the fact that I had to think about part of my brain as being so-called against me, that was hard to swallow. I have to say, I did struggle with that initially. And when I first read the book, that turned me off for a while. And then when I reread it and I started to really think it through, when you feel like the refrigerator and the pantry are more powerful than you, that is what war within myself felt like. Part of me was absolutely unable to fight the urge to reach in and grab a bag of whatever. Now that I know that there's a voice that's saying, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, And yeah, it's coming from my own head. It's self-generated, but I'm stronger than that. The rest of me is stronger than that. It's not really integrating it. It's just accepting that it's there.
You're accepting your superiority. Same as
Yes.
what we were saying before. You're accepting that
Yeah.
this is generated by an organ in your head. It's part of the lower brain, which is really not where we identify with
Mm-hmm.
being human.
Mm-hmm. Like you said to me a long time ago on a call or something, it's like your bladder. It's a physical thing, but you learn to control it. It's really that simple. I don't see it at all as not so much as a war within myself as just it's no longer an itch that needs to be scratched per se. I have an old ski injury. I have a broken bone in my neck. So I have pain in my neck. I live with pain. Yes, I live with pain. Well, I can sit here and complain and go down the woe is meism path and I'm injured. I have this problem, and let that define me. Or I can accept, okay, this is a limitation I have, but I have all of these tools with which to have comfort and live with it and what have you. It's not going to ever go away, but I don't have to live as if that was the governing influence in my life.
What other insights and breakthroughs have you had since we talked?
All of it feeds being a pun, haha, into the actual subject of food. So I thought all my years of binging that the hyperpalatable, super sugary, super fatty, super starchy, super cheesy, whatever, all of that stuff, I thought that was delicious and marvelous. And I loved it and I craved it. And, I wanted all this so-called comfort food, blah, 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 blah. But as I have stepped away from all of those highly stimulating, addictive substances and eating a more pure, natural whole foods diet, I mean, oh my gosh, a bowl of watermelon, my eyes fall out of my head. Like, it's so good.
I love this time of year because of watermelon season. Yeah,
I know. And all the melons and the berries, I mean, all the fruit comes out and it's just like heaven. Now, if I have a mango for breakfast, it's like I've gone to heaven. It's an entirely sensory, pleasurable, fulfilling, satisfying experience that I did not ever have with cupcakes or whatever. Like I thought I did, but I didn't really connect to what I was eating and the fact that it tastes ridiculously good and it's absolutely good for me.
the cupcakes are actually deadening your senses.
Yes.
They're causing your taste buds to downregulate. You can't be present for the experience of a mango.
Right. And seriously, like I'll eat a whole cantaloupe sometimes because if it's a really good one, I get going on it. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've had in 2 days. And I can eat it and know that what I'm eating is something that is absolutely worth every bite to my body and to me, and that I don't have to feel bad about it in any way, and that it's doing more good for me than harm. It's ridiculously tasty. The texture's wonderful. I pay attention to the detail, the rich sensory experience of what I'm actually eating. Whereas when it's slop, it was a totally different process of chewing and eating. It was like shove as much as you can in as fast as you can. An inhalation, right?
If you think about the instructions for eating mindfully, where they'll tell you to be really present and experience the food with all of your senses and let it thoroughly nourish you. How do you do that with a cupcake? How do you let a cupcake thoroughly nourish you, right?
Yeah, right. This was not conscious. Like I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be a mindful eater now. No, I know what that's about.
I'm not an expert at that either. It happened because I found all the ways that I wasn't eating mindfully, and I created a structure to stop myself from doing that. What was left over was mindfulness.
And the other piece to that is slowing down and not inhaling food, well, so-called food, in that rabid, frantic, manic way that we do as bingers. I would hear people talk about this and I would read about this, but I myself could not personally identify it. I couldn't feel it in my biology that I now know when food feels good to me, like viscerally feels good. The couple of days when I was traveling that I was binging, I felt like I mean, I really did, and I could tell. My energy was low. I felt sluggish. I felt super full. I felt heavy and like my system was clogged up almost. The drain was clogged. That's how I felt because I was eating things that aren't good for me.
I had a client who said it feels like being painted with Crisco.
Yes, right. Like you're suffocating kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What's probably happening when you're doing that is you're interfering with the absorption, uptake, and distribution of the glycogen in the system to the cells that need it. Feels like there's a wall between you and reality.
Very much like almost an alternative reality. Like I was living some life that wasn't me anymore, kind of.
Yeah.
Weird, very weird. And then the minute I shut that down and went back to eating well the way I want to, which happens to be whole food plant-based, and I was having my pile of fruit for breakfast or whatever, I felt immediately better. Like my blood sugar was stable. I didn't feel weird and shaky. I didn't feel heavy. Like I didn't feel clogged up and slowed down by food. I felt energized, cared for, nourished, alive, truly alive. Okay, I'm a fully functioning human being versus a slug. That's ridiculous.
That's great.
I never could identify that. People would talk about sugar high and then sugar crash. I just had highs. I didn't even know I had crashes. Now I can see, yes, I do get a crash and it ain't pretty.
You didn't know how bad things were, like an abused kid. When you grew up in a family of abuse, you don't necessarily know that you've been abused until you really meet someone and you figure out what love actually is.
I mean, as a kid, I was chronically dehydrated. I had headaches all the time and I exercised hard and I would just practically pass out from headaches while I was severely dehydrated. I didn't know it was so bad. I just thought this was reality.
I literally did not think that I had a vegetable until I was 16 years old. I racked my brain and I try to remember what it may be. Cream spinach from a package.
Right.
My mom fed me on Pop-Tarts and sugar pops and spaghetti and meat. Right. There was a brand of French fries called I Hate Peas.
Oh my gosh.
Where they would actually sneak vegetables into French fries. It wasn't popular very long and nobody seems to remember it, but
oh my God.
I know we ate those kinds of things.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. When my mom had precancerous tumors in her uterus when I was 16, and she was told to go on a plant-based diet for a year. And I know there were a lot of low-carb people listening and everything. I'm not saying this is the only way to eat, but we can all pretty much agree that we're supposed to have some vegetables. And for that year, we had salads and green juices. And I just remember coming alive in a way that we never been alive before. And it just opened my eyes to how life could be.
You don't realize how chemically, I don't want to say imbalanced because I don't know, that sounds like a trendy term or whatever, but how chemically vulnerable you are because you don't know the difference. Like you said, you don't know how bad it is. But then once you start to get the chemistry actually nourished and hydrated and fed, and then you realize how truly sensitive it is.
It all starts by saying feelings aren't facts. Let me use my intellect to make one simple rule to improve my diet and see what happens.
And the fact is now, if I have an apple and a banana, I feel really good.
My personal food plan has evolved to include an incredible amount of grains.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I actually had to get a second refrigerator, and one of them is always filled with organic.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that. That's awesome.
Like organic kale and lettuce and chard. And I just feel so much better. I put it in smoothies. I make juices out of it. I put it in salads. And it's not just like a black and white thing that all of a sudden I realized, well, now I can feel good. Mm-hmm. There are different levels. As the years go by and I managed to get more slop out of my diet and eat even cleaner, I just experienced a different level of health and happiness, I suppose you would say.
Oh, totally. And I'm with you on the greens. My lunch every day is a ginormous salad and it's almost all greens. And there's whatever other vegetables, maybe some nuts. I mean, it's a huge plant-based meal of largely greens. And if I don't have that, I miss it the next day. Okay, today, here comes my salad. Yay. Because I feel so good when I eat it. It's the same as what you're saying. And here's another little tip for people that really helped me on this journey of just simply feeling good about what I eat physically, not mentally, not even the emotional part of it, but just the physical part is I will do these things for a while where I would call it 7 days of salad. And that helped me to identify this, that every day for lunch, I would have a salad 7 days in a row. And it would look different every day.
Sounds like a movie.
Right.
7 days of salad.
salad.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. I mean, I did mean to
No.
interrupt you. It'd be snarky, but
No, it's good. But after a couple cycles of that, the days when I didn't do my salad, I'd be like, you know what? Okay, it takes half an hour to chew all these greens or whatever, but man, it's worth it. I feel good. I actually physically feel good. And I know what that is now. And I didn't for 4/5 of my life.
it's like if you've got 5 hours free and you take a half an hour to prepare a salad and eat it, you wind up getting more done in those 5 hours than you would if you just grab protein bar.
Okay. Since we're doing tips, here's another salad tip. I'd make a huge Tupperware full of just the greens because they don't get yucky like cucumbers in 2 days or whatever. So I'll put the crunchy and the greens, I'll mix those up so that I have basically that part of the salad ready to go for at least 2 days in a row or 3. And then that cuts down on my prep time most of the time. And then I just add the juicy stuff that you don't want to sit in there for 24 hours or whatever. So it just makes it quicker and faster and easier. I don't know. It's rewarding because I legitimately know that I feel good when I eat this food now. And of course, that's different for every person, but that has been so brilliant for me is that now I know what feels good and I didn't before.
That's great,
Crazy,
Sherry.
but true. So,
What else have you observed? What else did you want to share?
that's pretty much it. I'm just so happy that I'm in touch enough with what feels healthy and feels good to me. And that I've found that refutation that really works for me, that I am worth doing what in my head, in my highest thinking is good for me. Even on days when it's a little harder to do that it's worth the struggle. Fall down 7, get up 8, really, really fall down 7, get up 8 if you have to. The 8 is what matters.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Is there anything that's dogging you that I could help you with?
My big thing always was emotional eating, and just any amount of stress would immediately be, I need to eat sugar or something super salty and crunchy usually. And I've really struggled with that. And if and when I do binge, it's often because of something that's a struggle like that. It's a really low emotional day or something like that. But that's also where that piece I was saying about it's worth it to me to stick to my rules because I know this too shall pass.
Mm-hmm.
I really am understanding now that, I'm having a crappy day, or, I'm fighting with my husband, or one of my kids is really struggling with something hard and harsh. And the reality is ugly and painful. And I'm carrying the weight of that. Okay, this too shall pass. I don't have to eat just because of that. Food is not going to improve it in any way. It's not my crutch anymore. It just isn't.
What's happened to the intensity of the emotions and the stress since you've adopted that attitude?
Oh, that's really interesting that you say that. I mean, they're still there and I feel the pain and the discomfort and the struggle and whatnot. Maybe it's because I don't get distracted by the food as a numbing agent. I let myself cry more. I've given myself permission to cry more than I ever did in my past. And that's absolutely valuable and cathartic. And that is a process of saying, okay, this really sucks. I'm uncomfortable. I hurt. This hurts me. My heart is aching or whatever. And identify that and sit in it and just be like, I just need to sit in it. I just need to wallow in it. It's okay. Yeah, these things happen. I'm not the only person. There's 6 billion other people right now feeling the same thing. It sucks. It's horrible. It's not fun. I don't want to be here. But running away from it and eating a bunch of crap that's going to make me physically feel terrible isn't making it go away. It really isn't. It just covers it up for a minute.
Do you find that those emotions pass any sooner than you were frightened they would?
Actually, yes. That's a really good observation. And I hadn't thought of that, but you're right. It does pass faster. And I feel more, I wouldn't say confident, but just more accepting of it, I guess. Accepting of the lows because I know it's not going to go on forever. And I know I'm going to come out on the other side, maybe different and changed, not the same as I am in that moment and not as I was the moments before, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. And it really does seem to pass a little faster. And the not patching the ugly feelings up with food, the way it shortens that cycle is it just doesn't add to it, right? It's like you say, if you lose 5 pounds, it's more like you've really lost 10 because you're not going up the scale as well, right?
Yes. Yes. If you stay in your plan for a month as opposed to binging for a month, the difference is not 5 pounds, it's 10 pounds.
Exactly. And it's the same with the emotional. It's like, I feel really bad right now, but if I go and eat half of the cake, I'm going to feel 10 times worse, because then I'm going to feel guilty, and then I'm going to feel the shame piece probably. And physically, I'm going to feel not just emotionally. So the emotional is bad, but then I'm going to have the physical yucky feeling on top of it. So it's like I've magnified the misery of being sad or angry or whatever tenfold, because now physically I feel awful too, right?
Sherry, is there anything else I should have asked you or made sure that you got a chance to talk about that I didn't?
No, I think this has been a great conversation. I've said what I really felt compelled to. So thank you.
Me too. Okay. Well, thank you so much for this. I guess I'll see you in the groups.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Sherry. Bye.
All right. Bye.
And that brings us to the end of today's broadcast of Defeat Your Cravings, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston. Now, if you'd like to find out more about the products and services Dr. Glenn offers to help you dramatically reduce your cravings and stop overeating in 90 days or less, please visit defeatyourcravingscoaching.com. That's defeatyourcravingscoaching.com. Thanks.